Howdy, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the VCS, our second series of the day, about to get underway. You're always bouncing up and down. He was on his chair. I was having to be like this to be at the same height as him. Now we're both ready. SBTC against Team Secret. And if you had told me this was the series I was casting at the start of the split, I would have said, great, this is going to be a banger series. But as things are currently looking, SBTC doing rather well. Team Secret struggling to find their groove.
Yeah, Team Secret has to get it together now because it's looking rather precarious for them. They are 2-5, and they are struggling to find their roster. We actually have the standings here on
Mm.
our broadcast. So let's have a look at the standings. 7-0 for GAM, of course, and we are playing SPTC fourth place, 4-3. One win is the streak right now. But Team Secret down there in 7th place, behind Team Flash and -6 in game score, which I think points is. So they are really down in the gutter. 4 losses in a row, only, of course, beaten by MGN, who haven't won a single game, obviously. So Secret really needs to get it together because any more losses and playoffs look almost impossible. The top 4 teams, of course, make playoffs, and you need round about 8 serious victories to get there. Looking at historic performances, 8 has usually been enough. Sometimes 8 is still dangerous, so 8 is kind of the minimum. And they're really far away from that. They need to win at least 5 out of their next 7 series, and they have to play against teams like GUM again, against
Yep.
Cerberus, so they really can't afford to lose any of these.
And let's not forget, one of those series that Team Secret has won was against Saigon Buffalo towards the start of the split, where SGB was struggling to find their footing as well. Since then, Saigon Buffalo have been able to pick up the pace, hence why they're currently tied for 5th in the standings with Team Flash. And we're getting to a point now where you've got GAM, most of the other teams, Team Secret, and then Box Esports all by themselves, sadly, at the moment. So, what's really gone wrong for Team Secret? Because coming into this split, there were a couple of teams that had no changes to their roster from last season, Saigon Buffalo, Team Secret. Both of those at the start of the split were really, really struggling compared to everyone else.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising. I'd say a lot of their individual performances have tended downwards. Starting with Artifact, the MVP of summer last year. I know you were a really, really big fan of Artifact's performances, and a lot of people voted for him. I'm not entirely sure if I did, but I was definitely on the hype train. He was the best mid laner, in my opinion, too. And he hasn't really ever shown up all that much. He's not playing badly, but they can't rely on him to carry the games. Eddie is still putting in good performances of some of the champions, but it's not enough to carry once again, and Hero has been much worse. But of course, the biggest problem of this team is all the shenanigans that are going on in the jungle position. Penguin started, he looked meh, but okay. Not an improvement, but okay. Then now he's suddenly gone. Skewed came in, he looked whatever. And now Son came in, looked really bad. Then Skewed came back, once again looked whatever. So they don't really have a jungler to compete with the rest of the teams, and I think it's also hurting their team synergy. So the point you made at the start, that this is a returning team that should actually have better synergy and be able to start strong, right? On the strong foot compared to all the new teams, is completely out of the window now that their jungler is gone and their synergy seems to have evaporated. So they are kind of dealing with the worst of both worlds, where it's a returning team that is not really coming in with a spark, and they're also not having the same kind of synergy. So I don't know where their strengths lie, honestly. They look almost doomed to me.
And when I think about Artifact, and if I had to kind of explain to someone who hadn't seen Artifact play, I'd kind of say that he's this cross between Dia 1 and Glory, in the sense that he has some of the roaming that we see a lot from Dia 1, and he's got a bit of the lane dominance that you see from Glory, but where he really shines is in teamfights. And his positioning's immaculate. He finds these stupid ways of getting kills and getting ahead and leading his team through teamfights. Now I'm looking at his stats, 23% damage share, 1 CSD. I think the artifact of 2022 was a lot higher. What do you want to see from Artifact to really get back into his stride? And does this revolve a lot around his jungler being there for him, or even Juhao in the support role being able to facilitate him more?
I'm not entirely sure. Now, mid lane right now in the meta is not really the highest damage dealing role, right? You mostly rely on bot lane and sometimes even on top lane. So I don't think looking at his damage stats is really something we should do too much and judge him too much on. I do agree that his team fighting has not looked as crisp and as clean as it had last summer, but I think it's mostly about the laning performance. I think he needs to be better in lane for his team to do anything. He needs to set up a skewed or whichever jungler they're playing, maybe their rookie jungler, who knows. They need to have better mid-jungle synergy, and I think it starts with his laning performance. If he can come back to his 10, 15 CS up on average laning performance from last summer and just be the dominant force in the middle of the lane, of the rift, I think that would go a long way to help Team Secret over their mid-game hums where they just can't really find a game plan, because honestly they're still ahead on average in gold, which is rather surprising if you think about a team that's 2-5. It's only by 400 roundabout, but they're still ahead in gold, so they're doing something right in the early game. I think they just need to double down on the laning strength.
Finally, I do want to touch on this top lane.
Sorry, we have draft, but go on.
No,
I just need to transition into draft.
So while we do get into draft, I'll lead in with a point of talking about Hero, because Hero has probably been the one player that has been able to stay at the same performance as 2022, and I don't know if that's because, you know, top lane island things, so your stats still look impressive and all of that, but last year we'd look at Hero against Emperor as, you know, the two stellar top laners, the two top laners whose performances had up from out of nowhere and were now vying against each other as being the best top laners in the VCS.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hero not quite there right now. Hopefully, he can show a better performance, because I think at the start of the season, Emperor against Hero, as you said, would have been a super hype matchup, right? We're missing one ban, probably once again a little bit of an overlay issue. We have had some overlay, draft overlay problems. There it is. It's Talia banned against Artifact. I think that's judicious a prudent ban. Oh,
ASOL's open.
ASOL is open indeed, and this could be some of... maybe a champion for either of these. They've both of these mid laners have played an insane number of champions, so I wouldn't be surprised on either side to see the ASOL. We still go Ashe first pick on 13.4, a little surprising, and breaking up the Ashe and Varus combination already makes Ashe look a little bit weaker. You could still pair her as ADC with Heimerdinger maybe. We saw that yesterday in LEC once again, tempted by G2. But I think the biggest thing we need to talk about, Milky, is yet another jungler is here. It's the rookie jungler, Qiang?
Shang?
Who knows?
Shang? I'm going to say Shang, locked in as SBTC thinking about what they want to pick up in the bottom lane. I would also like to highlight there's a possibility that maybe we could even see something like Seraphine Ashe coming through, although I don't think that's really a Slayer champion. Also, with that being said, it is Slayer playing in the ADC role over Vinboys, as the Xayah is locked in for Slayer.
Yeah, Slayer, Xayah, of course, an old classic champion. Xayah, Ashe, not really the greatest lane together, I'd say. A little bit risky as well if they go all in, or even if they go poke here, you could go Heimerdinger, and Heimerdinger into Ashe is not the greatest, but just try to zone away the likes of Xayah from the wave. So I'm interested in this bot lane matchup. I think Eddie Zuhao, of course, a long-standing bot lane into Slayer Palette. It's an exciting matchup on paper, and if Eddie Zuhao can perform a little bit better, I think it should also be a focal point of this whole matchup.
I'm interested to see what Team Secret are going to be pairing with this Varus, if they're going to look towards something like the Karma, but the first round of picks have been locked in. The Aurelion Sol, I will highlight this once again, still available. There is a possibility, though, you'll wait, that is going to be the Gragas going into Dia 1's hands in the mid lane, but it could, of course, be flexed towards Emperor in the top lane.
Or DNK in the jungle as well. I think Gragas is more likely to be a jungler right now than a top laner, honestly, but Dia 1, of course, is a known Gragas player. He played Gragas mid lane when no one else in the world played Gragas mid lane. Now it's meta, so I would always probably expect this to be Dia 1 Gragas into Ahri Wukong. Also sounds like maybe an option to neutralize that very potent 2v2. I like that they set up Qiang, and Artifact together with a strong early game 2v2 skirmishing style the mid-jungle duo, where Wukong and Ahri, they have so much CC together, so much mobility, they can really run the game, so that's something I'd like to see. Hopefully Artifact and this new rookie jungler can work together well to give Secret a little bit more spice, a little bit more of a spark of life in the early game.
Now, I do like this Gragas as much as anyone. I remember back to when Dia 1 made his return to the VCS last year, I believe in summer, pulled it out against his former team. Gam absolutely popped off on the AP Gragas. Leona locked in for Team Secret. And this is the last chance then that we could be seeing the Aurelion Sol being locked in. I know I've been harping on and on about it, but I would love to see it here in the VCS.
Yeah. Honestly, after seeing so many Aurelion Sol bans, I wonder if Aurelion Sol wasn't permitted to be played in round number 1. Because sometimes they have some rule changes between round number 1 and round number 2. So even though we're still on the same patch, it could actually be the case that Aurelion Sol is just now available. Instead we go Lissandra. We've seen some Lissandra pop up here and there across the world. I think in some of the Asian leagues, people have been playing Lissandra. And Lissandra Viego is a scary 2v2 too. Lissandra Viego against Wukong Ari sounds like a lot of action in the early game. I'm up for that. Would mean Enper and Gragas, which is not really what I would like to see, because we know Enper Fiora, we know Enper Jax, and all the other solo kill champions. But it seems to be a little bit more of a quiet performance today with Enper Gragas.
Another Camille being hovered. In the end, it will be the Gwen locked in for Hero. His second game on the Gwen this
Not
split.
locked in yet.
Oh, sorry, it isn't locked in yet. Will it be locked in? We'll have to wait and see. Something I do want to talk about, though, is Shank, because he's coming in pairing up with Artifact, and if you, again, look versus 2022, he's filling in for Penguin in what is probably, outside for what would have been maybe BJ and Froggy, the strongest jungle mid in the league. And that's a lot of pressure to step into.
Yeah, I think most of the strength there came from the mid lane, honestly. So maybe it's actually something to revitalize Artifact's strength from last year with a new jungler. They tried so many different junglers now, so I'm not sure if that's really the case. But some of the junglers have also been quite underwhelming. Sorn, unfortunately, came in. It looked pretty rough, even though I still have a little bit of a special place for Sorn, my first ever favorite player in VCS back in spring 2019. But yeah, he's not really up there with the best junglers anymore, unfortunately. So it's time for a rookie, and why not now? They need to win the series to have a chance to get to playoffs. They really can't afford to lose anymore, especially against a team like SPTC, direct competitor for those playoff spots, 2 series ahead of them, and it's time for Secret to strike. If they lose today, it's looking bleak.
Yeah, if they lose this series, they essentially have to win every single one of their remaining series to have that chance to get into playoffs. I mean, it still might be nip and tuck. It depends, of course, on everyone else's results, but things will be looking bleak, and SBTC will be eager to start off their second round robin with a win. And against a struggling Team Secret, I don't think SBTC would have had many other teams they would have rather faced.
Yeah, and if you're a little bit narrative focused here, you could say, well, SPTC is now looking once again a little bit more hype, right? They won the series against Cerberus, so the SPTC fans are getting hyped again. So now would be the perfect time in their storyline to lose a random series. Yeah. To lose a random series against a bottom tier team. Let's see if they can break out of that narrative, because SPTC, of course, have struggled in the last 2 years, even though they are one of the big fan favorites and have so many famous players, so many big names. They are cooking something here in the bot side.
They are cooking. Everyone's cooking today. And this time it's Eddie who's being cooked, or considering he's being auto-attacked by an Ashe, he's being frozen. And frozen out of his lane, will be forced to reset. But to go back to your previous point, I do genuinely find it incredible that we're talking about Secret as one of the worst performing teams in the league, one of the worst teams in the league, when less than 6 months ago, this was a team that we thought had a very realistic chance of beating Saigon Buffalo in a playoff series to go to Worlds.
Yeah, they were closer in spring, to be completely honest. And Artifact, unfortunately, has a really bad track record in the playoffs. But his regular season performance was amazing. He was the MVP for us. So it's weird to see this team struggle so much in the regular season, because honestly, with how they perform, they should be one of the teams with the highest floor, right? Maybe not the highest ceiling, because some of the players just don't have the same pedigree, the same potential as some of the SGB players or GAN players, for example. But usually this team does super well in just the normal day-to-day business, and it's really concerning to see them struggle this much. It's time
And
for them to turn it around. It's second round robin now, or I would say never.
And that's actually, now that you bring that up, that's jogged my memory in what our narrative over Team Secret was for the majority of last year. The fact that they were the consistent team, the fact that they had played less games over every split than every other team because their series never went to 3 games. Either they lost 2-0 against teams like GAM, or they beat all of the other teams in the split 2-0. They never made those coin flippy games where it went to 3 games and you thought, oh, are they going to throw this series?
Yeah, and one of the biggest strengths, even starting last spring, was their macro, their mid-game lane allocations, where in some of the games against Saigon Buffalo, if you remember the playoff games where they got very, very close in spring, 2-3 loss against Saigon Buffalo, they dominated Saigon Buffalo from the 15 to 25 minute mark. Saigon Buffalo usually got into that 15-minute mark with a 2-3k gold lead, and then Team Secret, just with smart rotations, good lane allocations, just going to side lanes, clawed their way back into a lead in the mid-game, and then lost team fights. So that was kind of the dynamic between those two teams, more explosive from the side of Saigon Buffalo, and more just good standard play from Team Secret. But they seem to have lost all of that today, or this year, I should say. So just hoping to see some of the sparks that we did see all across last year from Team Secret.
Of course, that is all ancient history,
Oh, no.
a relic of the past, if you will, or an artifact of the past. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening now, because Palette being engaged on and Zhu Hao just looking to pick up the kill in a 1v2, gets the kill. Slater can't do anything to keep his support alive. First blood for Team Secret, and Shang is looking for a play on the top side of the map. Is there enough damage with the hyper?
Oh no, oh no.
He takes one tower shot, he jumps away and he survives! Team Secret pick up 2 kills across the map.
No, Hero was a negative HP there. Did you see the 42 come in from the Triumph? Before that 42 lit up on his HP bar, he looked more than dead to me. And this is, of course, the power of Leona. She is so insanely strong level 3. Look at 2 ADCs trying to whittle her down, and they don't deal any damage to her. But we have to keep our eye on Hero's HP, because that, I would want to know the number. That was so insanely close. Look at him here. Look at his HP before.
Oh my god!
There's nothing left on that bar.
You know what we say about that your way? We say not even close, fully calculated, never a doubt. But Team Secret find themselves with a gold lead. I guess critically though, one silver lining for SBTC is the fact that the first blood went to Zhu Hao and not to Eddie.
Yeah, Zhu Hao will be more tanky, tankier, which is pretty nice in a double ADC lane, because this now pushes kind of the... Oh, never mind, he's in mid lane now, but he's fine. They're trying to get on top of DR1.
Zhang, he's not going to be able to follow on the glacial path. Team Secret are starting off this game beautifully.
They're so proactive. It's so nice to see Team Secret do stuff. I mean, as I said earlier, they are actually ahead in the early game more often than not. On average, they actually are in a gold lead at 15 minutes, which is surprising considering they're 2-5 in series. But they do play decent early games. But this is more than just decent. This is proactive play and looking for the place in multiple lanes. Zhu Hao, Xiang, both of them coming in with a much better plan than in some of the series we've seen recently. And I'm already getting excited again for the playoffs race, because if Secret can step up, we have 7 out of 8 teams competing for the playoffs.
If you remove that win-loss record from Team Secret and told me SBTC is a team that's tied 3rd with Team Wealth coming into the day and showed me these first 6 minutes, I'd say, yeah, Team Secret, they're probably like 6-1. Maybe they're 7-0, dominating the split, because this is a really good performance from them. The question is, can they convert this in the mid game? Can they convert it in the late game? Here comes Shang.
He gets it!
He's looking to steal the Drake away, and he does exactly that. Zhu Hao engages, down goes TNK. DR1 able to go over the wall, but it's 4 kills for 0 for Team Secret. Where was this Secret for the first round robin?
Yeah, Xiang coming in, and what a performance. What a rookie game here. Game number 1. He's doing everything right. Everything he does works, but big credit also to Zhu Hao. We know him mostly for his laning phase, for his performances on Enchanters, probably the best Enchanter player over the course of the last year. But he goes to Leona, and he has just one plan in mind. Go in, get CC, and kill everyone.
And Team Secret are killing everyone currently. Slater just getting poked down a little bit by the piercing arrows. The Secret bottom lane will reset, but now nearly a 2k goal lead. And I think one of the most impressive things so far from Secret, and we've only seen it once, maybe twice, is the fact that Zhu Hao and Shang seem to have been linked up on the map. We saw them both ganking towards mid lane onto Dia 1 early, both present for the Drake. And if this synergy can continue for Team Secret, not just in this game, but for the rest of the split, this is a really good look for them.
And Milky, look who got the early kills. It's Artifact. He's now ready to carry this mid-game on a mid-game focused champion, on a burst focused champion that can make plays happen. So it's all the things we talked about earlier on that didn't go well for Team Secret so far, that went so well last year. And they once again can play through Artifact. They can play through their strong 2v2 in mid-jungle, maybe even 3v3 if you count Zhu Hao. Let's see if they contest the next objective, because SE is not letting up. They do want to still play a kind of front-running style, where they go for objective after objective, but Team Secret is level 6. They could contest this one.
Team Secret, the issue for them is they can't fight this because Eddie is still resetting from base, and Slater's been able to make his way up into the mid lane. So it would have been a 4v5 if Secret wanted to make the play. So in the end, SBTC pick up the Rift Herald, and that'll be a small injection of gold that will go their way once it is dropped onto the Rift.
Looking at least a little bit better in that passage of play, but Team Secret is ready to make the next move. Dragon is up in 2.5 minutes, so right now it's all about controlling the jungle space. Xiang, as you can see, is now invading bot side with all the help from mid and support. And now how do you even get close to this bot tower? Everyone knows that the dive is coming, the wave is being stacked, and that's plating's going in favor of Team Secret, even though they lost the objective on the top side. So overall, in terms of map play, it's pretty even.
And Eddie is level 6. Slater has just hit level 6 though, so has some of that self-peel available to him. Good charm from Artifact in the mid lane. Can't really follow it up with any extra damage. And we're kind of going to hit a small lull, I want to say, Yolway, for the next couple of minutes until we do get that Chemtech Drake spawning.
Yeah, no need to overpush, especially in this kind of situation for the team. They just want to play it cleanly and go to the win. They've had such an amazing start. Squandering this kind of opportunity would be really horrible for their mental as well, because they're already playing from a position that is not the greatest. 2-5 in series, 4 series losing streak on top of that. So they really want to clean this up, just get a clean, fast victory, don't risk anything, and try to finish the whole series.
Hero's having some fun into Emperor. And yes, I know the range into melee matchup. Does he go in? Just throws an altar at the tower to pick up the tower plate, and the boomerang, I think, tags a minion, so it doesn't get any damage through on to Emperor.
And look at Emperor on this Gragas, not looking at all like the Emperor we know, like the lane-dominant solo kill god we know from last year, and also from this year, honestly. All his Fiora games have looked amazing, so I'm still very curious about this Gragas being put into the top lane, into the hands of Emperor, when you literally have the Gragas mid lane main in Dia 1 in your team. So this decision is still a little bit puzzling to me. Usually I'm a big fan of Rent's drafts, but this one, I need to see it actually working.
Can we just talk about how much of a Chad Zhu Hao is? Because he sees Dia 1, he completely ignores Dia 1 and proceeds to stop the wave from crashing under tower regardless.
First item build up for Artifact already. That's added CC. Now everyone needs to be careful not to be attacked by this RE, because she can literally kill anyone on the map right now.
Hero, we'll see DNK making his way up towards the top side. Explosive cast not available. And to go back to what you were talking about with regards to Emperor, I was looking at some of their laning stats from the season. On average, Emperor up 1 CS at 15 minutes. Hero, though, up 7 CS at 15. And Hero's been having a very good split, at least in terms of the first 10-15 minutes of a game.
Yeah, but only that, I'd say, because while his laning is solid, he has been having very little game impact later on, and kind of not able to transition his leads to significant advantages for his entire team, which is something we praised him for last year when he played team fights quite well. He's back to the laning hero we knew. So once again, a good laning performance, 20 CS ahead, but hopefully he can also contribute to the rest of his team's success in team fights a bit more this time.
SBTC are cooking something up in the top lane. Emperor, Oh, sorry, Slader is coming up. Enchanted
That's
Crystal
a
Arrow is going to
flash.
be CC,
Nicely
followed by
done.
CC, but Hero able to hop his way out to safety, and the play from SBTC doesn't work. Meanwhile, Team Secret going for a play of their own in the bottom lane, but the Zenith Blade will not root Emperor in place, and Team Secret will not be able to engage any further.
Secret does have the Rift Herald in their hands, so they might be able to get the advantage in this push. Of course, the starting HP. Oh, and Hero is fighting for this one. That's Slader forced to
Lands an
ultimate.
ult onto a Slader, forces the cleanse, forces the ult, so Hero pushing SBTC back as in the bottom lane, Team Secret getting some tower plates of their own.
That's an even trade now against Rift Herald, and when your top lane had to flash away from the initial gank. So very strong weak side play for the side of Hero, where he plays aggressively even though he's under tower with 3 opponents, but he knows his limits and fends them off well. Once again, a winning play for Team Secret. And look at this advantage building here. It's almost 3k. We're looking at a 2-dragon advantage and a super strong mid-game composition, so that's exactly what they want. They want to play around dragons, and you have an Ari on an item already. You have a Wukong who's gonna hit his mythic, and an early/mid-game bot lane setup, so this is just looking like a clean snowball game for the side of Team Secret.
Well, they are now 2.5k gold up, so they have extended their lead from what was just under 2k, and that's despite SBTC having the Rift Herald. So there's some very smart macro play from Secret, reminiscent of their 2022 performances. Both ADCs now have an item, although I want to say the item for Slade is a bit more impactful than Eddie's Yomu's Ghostblade Lethality build.
You could argue that, but Yomu's gives him so much rotational power, right? So much movement speed. He can just kind of warp resets now with the added movement speed and even the active movement speed to get there even faster. So this first item has been a trend coming in the second half of Spring Split, I'd say, where everyone on Lethality started going Yomu's first, and it just gives you so much added safety, so much added movement speed. We all know movement speed is an insanely overpowered stat, so it makes a lot of sense, and you can see him catch this top wave super easily.
And we talk about rotations as well. We have a Hextech Rift, so with those Hex Gates, a lot more weight for champions like Zhuhao, Shang to be able to find their ways into the backline and get on top of SBTC members like Slader.
Even Artifact likes that very much. More angles, more flank opportunities. It's all going Team Secret's way. The Rift is playing its part. All of their champions are working well together, and it's really on them. This should not be a game you could ever lose, because it's such a clear snowball opportunity now. Just play around objectives for the rest of the game. Focus on the Dragon Snowball. You got Hextech Soul, a strong soul. You have really good champions for the Hextech Soul too. You have such good CC setup and engage that this should really be their game to lose. So let's see if SBTC can come up with a plan to interrupt this clean snowball.
A fight over Rift Herald is imminent. Both top laners in the bottom lane, but it is Emperor who has teleport. SBTC, though, will not commit to any play, and Team Secret will be able to secure the Rift Herald.
SBTC quite far away from mid-wave. This could be a tower from Team Secret. Yeah, they instantly accelerate the game, and that cannot be stopped by anyone. Yeah, that's just the charge onto the mid tower. Nicely played from Team Secret, showing some of their macro and map awareness. This should also bode well for the next mid push into Dragon in 1 minute when the mid tower is down. Oh, Slader under a lot of pressure, no cleanse. Oh, he does have the cleanse.
Forces out the Feather Storm artifact positioning so that he can't get hit by the Blade Caller, but he does nonetheless. There comes the Solar Flare and the setup for Artifact to secure his 3rd kill of the game.
Slader played it perfectly, redirected the feathers onto Artifact, and even though that's a 2-0 Ari, 2 levels ahead of him, he was able to go toe-to-toe in terms of damage, and then that pesky support is here again. Just a masterclass in roaming from Zhuhao.
Oh, DNK. Does this work out? Shang just buying time for his mid laner to retreat as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow could have spelled disaster for Team Secret, but still that perfect game continuing for Team Secret. Yes, they gave away a Rift Herald, but 5 kills to 0 and not a single Drake conceded.
Look at this again. Artifact, I think he didn't account for the cleanse there. Slader also not cleansing the Ignite, but just the CC. A little unfortunate for him, because it could have also been both. And I think he actually goes down to the last Ignite tick, because I didn't see any other damage landing after the Leona passive being applied. So I mean, there's really nothing else Lader could have done. He'd played it as well as he could, and Artifact still walks away with yet another kill. He's pushed back to his own tower, and he doesn't have TP. He does have the spellbook. I'm not sure if he can switch to TP to go to the dragon, but it doesn't seem necessary because Team Secret is already on top of the objective and no one even close from SBTC.
This has just been really smart play from Team Secret around the bottom side of the map, always making sure that, well, in the case of the first Drake, they're able to contest it and steal it away, and in the case of the second and third Drake, they're just able to have priority and stop SBTC from being able to contest.
Yeah, Secret finally showing us that they used to be the second best macro team after GAM. Looking much better today, but maybe it just needed some honeymoon phase with a new jungler, with a rookie coming in. Sometimes you need to revitalize the team with new members. A lot of people always say you shouldn't stay together more than 1 year because you kind of need the freshness, the new perspective, and it seems like it's working, at least in this first game for Xiang for the side of Secret.
You need the freshness. Tell that to GAM because they've kept the same team for so long. Dia1 though being caught out. 3 members on top of the pool. Lissandra and Artifact with a 4th kill this game.
Even GAM has added a new player back into the team. Sure, he played on GAM before, but it's still a different roster than last year. So there's always a slight little change.
Forced to flash away. Explosive Cask will not be used to teleport, just to dissuade SBTC from engaging any further.
Eddie used both of his summoners though, so a small opportunity to maybe capitalize on that. You have a lot of CC. You have Ash Arrow, you have, of course, the Gragas with Flash E available, so now big target, big mark on Eddie's back. I think he is the one player they want to attack in the next few minutes.
And I think Eddie is going to have to play very safe now that he doesn't have a Flash or Cleanse available. But again, is Eddie really the problem? You've got a 4-0 Ari to deal with, and with Zhu Hao and indeed Hero, that's a lot of peel, a lot of frontline that SBTC need to work through.
He might not be the problem, but maybe he's the solution to their problems, because if they can eliminate one player, maybe the 4v5 looks a little more playable. At the moment, items are trickling in for the side of SBTC. They are actually, I mean, they're a full item, almost a full item behind mid lane, but at least they have one item built up on all their players, so if you get the jump on one of them, get the numbers advantage, there's still hope in teamfight.
Prouder score now completed for Eddie. Palette still building towards his first item, which is looking to be an Umbral Glaive, although it could be maybe something like an Eclipse as well, possibly.
Now the game is slowing down, which is typical of Team Secret mid games, especially from ahead. They just know the target they want to play for, that's the dragon. Unfortunately, I think Eddie's Flash is not going to be up for the dragon. His cleanse should be available, but the Flash not so much. So Eddie might go down, but as you said earlier, he's not the main carry of the team right now. So as long as he gets out a little bit of poke, maybe his ultimate, he should be fine, even when he goes down.
And Team Secret now making their way into the bottom side river. 2 minutes until that Drake does spawn, and it will be a potential Hextech hole for Team Secret as Emperor just trying to dissuade Hero. Somehow that Nara lands. That was a weird interaction with a buffer, and in comes Zhu Hao, the Zenith Blade, the stun, and Hero will say thank you very much.
How is he here again? Today is just support day, it seems. When you're back casting the VCS, it's just support masterclass after support masterclass. Take some notes, Milky.
Wow. Yeah, Zhu Hao, he's playing on my champion. I do have to give you that one. The Leona buff when I'm casting. What can I say? Team Secret, though, they get another kill. 1 minute 30, though, for Drake. And that's what SBTC really have to be able to contest. And it's going to be all the pressure on DNK to find a way into the pit and steal it away from Shang.
That's all they can hope for at this point. But look at the vision setup by Team Secret. 4 vision wards placed in very interesting spots, very deep are some of those. So there's no opportunity for flank TPs for SBTC. They can't even really enter their own bot side jungle. If they don't do it right now, they really need to just face check into Team Secret's territory. Instead, they're trying something on the top side, but where are you, DNK, and why are you there?
DNK just out of the range of the Zenith Blade, not out of range of Solar Flare. Artifact over the walls, gonna find the charm onto Dia1, who will cast a self-ult. Emperor is making his way over, but SBTC can't get into the fight. Explosive Cast will just push Team Secret back as SBTC make their retreat.
What a stupid, stupid champion. I would be fuming if I was Artifact playing against this Lissandra that hasn't done anything correct in this game. Still just gets to live for ages right in front of everyone because it's Lissandra. But at least you actually break her stopwatch now. She doesn't have the Zonias yet. Could be close though. But no stopwatch for Dragon could dispel an easy soul.
I would also like to remind everyone as SBTC are trying to find a way to sneak the Baron, forcing Team Secret to come away from the Drake. Hero on the bottom side of the map, slowly walking up. SBTC will sensibly back away, but now Team Secret can just look to start up the the Hextech Drake.
And here you see one of the instances that Team Secret is still not quite as good as Gum. Gum would have instantly started Dragon with their top laner there, because they know that the enemy team has no chance whatsoever to take the Baron. Team Secret still thought a bit about contesting that one and lost a few valuable seconds. They're still gonna get this uncontested soul, so now objective number 1 achieved. They secured the soul, and Artifact might secure another kill.
Oh, Artifact over the wall, blast coned straight back over. Something I'd like to bring up is your way. Look at Hero CS.
Yeah, he's smurfing.
He's literally at 11 CS a minute. That is insane. On a Gnar.
Man's
been playing his split push well.
I've seen so many... Oh, Eddie. He does have the cleanse, and this flash is available now again. They waited too long to try and attack Eddie. Look at that damage from Eddie. Retaliation just onto Palette, showing him who the better archer of the two champions is.
To be fair, Eddie does have 2 items as Shang. Just
Nah,
playing a little bit aggressively with the Hex Gates. Has Zhu Hao nearby. Zhu Hao has just been everywhere this game on the Leona. And a Solar Flare on top. There is no way out for DNK. Surely he's got to try to sneak his way through in the Harrowed Mist. But now where do you go? Because you're on the wrong side of the map. And Team Secret is separating you from your own side. A teleport coming through from a hero. No way out for the SBTC jungler.
Yeah, and that's perfect positioning for Hero to just attack Baron instantly. No smite available. They have Hextech Soul. So what do you even do? I think you press FF, because there's absolutely no way for SPTC to win this situation. But let's see them try.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow on to Hero, but Team Secret will say, we'll take the fight. No worries whatsoever. Dia 1 has already used the Frozen Tomb. So that's 1 ult down for SBTC. Team Secret still hovering around. Dia 1 now trying to find a potential flank angle onto Hero, who just gives absolutely no care in the world to what SBTC want to do.
Yeah, but Team Secret outplayed themselves there. There's absolutely no need to turn this aggressively and completely disregard the Baron when the enemy team has no jungler. Just keep the Baron leashed with at least one player, so once you scare them off, you can go back to the Baron. They kind of just interrupted their own Baron for no big reason. So I might sound very overly critical because they're still playing a really good game, but these are the small improvements they can still make. Some of the decision making around their objectives could have been a little bit more decisive, a little bit more assertive, because that was an absolutely free Baron. No way SBTC gets close. But in the end, they're still super far ahead. They can also just wait for the Elder Dragon. I would like them to go for Baron once again. Just, why not? You're so far ahead, the enemy team can literally not do anything against you. But they did give them time to at least get to 2 items. SPTC's carries all sitting on 2 items now.
Hextech Soul completed, Elder in 3 minutes, and right now Team Secret is making sure that they can get control. They don't want to do anything crazy, and this has been synonymous with what we've seen with Team Secret in 2022. Not taking any risk. Good flash from Eddie, but in comes Emperor from the other side, and Eddie will get absolutely blown up. Shut down, secured by Slater.
Meantime, Hero is trying to get something on the bottom side. That's a tower. Tower for kill is a decent trade. It's a shutdown though, so Slater, a little bit of injection of gold into this hyper carry. What is Hero doing and where is he going?
Oh, he's taking the other Hex Gate. He's looking for a flank angle. Dia 1, though, has a teleport available. The instant charm onto the teleport from Dia 1. Frozen Tomb has been used, and this is a 5v3. Hero is not in the fight just yet. Zhu Hao has been caught, and Hero does not have the rage stacked for the Mega Gnar. Artifact, though, still healthy.
Hero's coming.
Dia 1 just about survived. A double kill comes through from Slater. Over the wall goes DK as he looks for the kill onto Artifact. Flashes under tower. Heartbreaker gets the kill. Hero locked in by the Blade Caller. Hero taken down, and SBTC find the extended ace.
How did SBTC come up with this team fight from this far down against Hextech Soul? We have to criticize Team Secret later on in the replay again, but first of all, this resets the game. It's not in the even state, but if they can get this Baron, that's another objective bounty. That should still be quite high objective bounty too, and that's so much gold for Slater now. He is a big carry.
Do you remember Guma Yushi from the World Finals? Eddie, is your time to channel your inner Guma. How big is a piercing arrow? Not quite big enough. Zhu Hao shows up, but locked down by the enchanted crystal arrow. Can't get over the wall. SBTC with so much gold, so many shutdowns, and now a Baron Nashor as well.
Fortunately, he's not playing against Pioshik, so no chance to steal that. Look at this again. Team Secret, I think their calls are just split. They don't really know if they want to kite or go back in. Then Xiang calls to go back in, and he just dies so quickly. Hero doesn't even have the chance to go into Mega Gnar, and his target, yeah, his ultimate is overzealous. He doesn't hold the ultimate against Slater. He could have killed Slater there, but he used the ultimate just to finish off the first kill, and then Slater was able to kite away from the Mega Gnar. Look at the damage. 5.8k done from Slater, and that was on 2 items. Now he's sitting on 3.5, so it's suddenly looking quite scary for Secret with the Hextech Soul behind them. But only a 4k gold lead, or a 3.5 maybe, and Slater is a much stronger teamfight carry as the Zarya compared to Eddie's Varus.
You talked about it before as well, your way. Team Secret do not have issues with getting early game leads. More often than not, they have the early game lead. China Crystal Arrow cleansed away by Artifact. How did he actually cleanse that?
He does a spellbook.
Spellbook?
Spellbook cleanse, yeah.
And then instantly swapped it around. Team Secret, though, trying to get pressure in the river. And watch out for Dia 1. You talked about it as well, your way. The fact that this champion, it doesn't matter how strong it is, it has so much utility, and it is such a thorn in the side for Team Secret as they are looking to convert what was a phenomenally good early game into a game win. And if they can get this Elder, that would be absolutely majestic for them. But it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a 50-50 for the Elder, very possibly, and it could go either way.
Oh, yeah, Chad just reminded me. The first time they played against each other, Game 2, Team Secret stomped SBTC, and then horrible things happened in the mid and late game, and SBTC actually, that was the Kassadin game from Dia 1. Where at 24 minutes, they were in the enemy base, Team Secret, and then Kassadin just popped off. They are trying again. Mini Gnar,
tanked very well by Hero, but Hero can't go into Mega Gnar. Slater with the self-heal with the ultimate. Shang has the ultimate, trying to get a knock-up. Can't find anything, though. And it is just Hero who falls. Still 5 members alive for the side of SBTC. Dia 1 going to reset, has a teleport available. Slater, though, has no teleport of his own. He's going to have to walk the long way back to the river, but there's nothing that Team Secret can do right now.
And once again, we have to criticize Hero for his team fighting, because his laning was immaculate. His some of the plays he did to get some of the kills were really clean, but unfortunately, he just got caught again as one of the strongest members.
He intentionally blocked it to save the rest of his team. Dia 1, though, very aggressive Hex Portal, walking down at 2 members in SBTC. Want this fight. Good charm, though, landing, but Emperor goes golden. Zhu Hao on the back foot, and the piercing arrow will not snipe down DNK. Is another kill for the side of SBTC as Zhu Hao falls.
Oh, TP available for Hero. He could come in. Oh, not aggressively TPing. And that's a kill on Slater. That's Elder Dragon. As SBTC have just thrown the game back into them, and Hero is on the chase.
Shutdown. Here comes Hero. Artifact from the other side, looking for the jungler. Down goes DNK, and no smite available now for SBTC. Palette is just a poor support. Will fall, and Team Secret have found a window to secure their 5th Drake of the game, and it is the Elder Drake.
They might have just thrown it back to Team Secret. SBTC not able to complete the comeback with the Elder Dragon as they peel off Elder to go into the enemy jungle and spend too much time to chase down targets. Now suddenly Team Secret back in firm control of the game. They need to make use of this Elder Dragon, though. Let's take another
This
look at
is
this one. The engage is in the choke point, so even though it looks like SPTC is kind of winning the situation, there's so much AoE damage from Team Secret's members that even though they get the initial kill, they are pretty low on HP, and then Slader decides to go this way for some reason. I've probably seen the TP coming in, but even if he goes the other way, the TP comes the other way. So Slader in a horrible situation, the best champion in the team composition for SPTC. So once he dies, everything goes in favor of Secret.
And this is actually Slader's first Xayah game this season. We've talked about how much of a Xayah aficionado Slader is, but it's his first opportunity to play on his champion this year. And he's been having a really good game as well. He's kept SBTC very firmly in the game, but now with an Elder buff, Team Secret are going to have to find a way to get the most out of this before their Elder ends. Otherwise, they might be finding themselves on the back foot in the team fight. Explosive cast just to get rid of the way. Team Secret, though, rushing this down as quickly as possible. Solar Flare used. Everfrost is going to land. Forces Slater to use the ultimate. In goes Shang with the knockup from the Cyclone. No real follow-up, though, as Tier 1 goes under his tower. A lot of damage from Hero. Forces Tier 1.
Oh, Hero!
The boomerang from Hero is so clutch. Down goes the SBTC mid laner. And what can Team Secret do now? 5v4. Do they continue to push, or do they reset? Surely they push forward.
Yeah, 50 seconds on the Drake. They still have time for one more team fight, and they have so much power behind them. Hextech Soul and the Elder Dragon. Look at Slater. He has to instantly go away. This could be... That's so close. Wow, Slater almost died to overstepping into the Varus poke. Okay, they are not going to finish the game.
But Team Secret backing away, and Hero doesn't have enough damage on his own to get the inhibitor tower. Baron is spawning Dia 1 up in 14 seconds time, but Team Secret are just going to straight up reset. Hero going to make his way to a blast cone and have Team Secret left their backs a bit too late, and I think they should be able to get out safely.
Okay, top inhibitor is not going to be super consequential if they just park Emperor level 17 in the top lane to clear the waves. So Team Secret needs to find another area of attack. The Elder Dragon not enough to finish the game off. They're still in a super good position. They have so many items. They are insanely strong on their carries, but the enemy team has a 4-item Xayah and many other champions that can buy space and time in team fights. So it's not over yet. They weren't able to finish the game off. Next target is probably the Baron.
You do have to think for SBTC, they can get into this game. We've seen them winning team fights, but now Team Secret, with the amount of pressure that they have been able to get, with the amount of priority that they've had, they're now looking towards Baron. What can SBTC do? DNK is not going to get into the pit in time. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will go wide. Finds its way through the entire Team Secret composition. Solar Flare will find a slow onto Dia 1, but Team Secret are focusing onto Emperor, who goes Golden Zenith Blade on the other side of the fight. He's going to be able to find his mark. It's a 1-for-1 so far. In goes Shang, finds a 2-man Cyclone, and a down
Hero
goes one more. Over the wall goes Artifact, looking towards DNK. Shang finds another knockup, another kill, but Slater has the Feathers out. He's in a 1v3. He's knocked up. Out comes the Featherstorm. Bladecaller will find one, but it is the ace for Team Secret. 5 kills for 2, and they will march it down in the mid lane, in the bottom lane.
Much spicier in the end than I thought the game would be. It looked so won for Team Secret after 20 minutes. They played an immaculate early and mid game, but then overstepped a few times. It doesn't matter though, the game went their way. They finally break this SPTC curse. They should have won against SPTC in round number 1, but Dia 1 Kassadin happened. This time Dia 1 had almost no game impact. It was all on Slater, and he was not able to find the mark in the end as Team Secret strike first in this series.
What a game. Team Secret may have choked against SBTC one time. They don't choke, though, in game 1 of their second series against SBTC. And, well, Team Secret are looking good for this series, but that's just one game. And if SBTC can clean up their early game just a little bit, they might be able to take game 2. They might be able to win this series. And you can see where Team Secret made that mistake at around 26 minutes.
Yeah.
And what was that? A 7k goalie diminished down to about 2k.
Yeah, big swing there. That was scary, with Slater getting all the shutdowns and getting to 4 items on the Xayah. In the end, not quite strong enough. I think Xiang showed us such a great early game, but don't forget about Zuhao. Of course, late game Leona is just I mean, a stun bot that insta-dies, so the late game didn't look too impressive. But his early game, his roaming, that was B-like in how he was everywhere on the map. Don't forget about what he did there. What a performance from supports today. I was blown away by Zhu Hao, especially on a champion that I don't really associate with him too much.
And we praise Zhu Hao. Incredible game from Zhu Hao. I'm not going to take anything away, but really impressive from Shanghai. I brought up the fact before that he's had to step up for Penguin, when Penguin and Artifact were one of the best mid-jungle duos out in the league in 2022. He's come in the middle of split as a complete rookie in the VCS, and what a debut performance from him.
Yeah, let's see if he can repeat that, because first game sometimes is the easiest because you come in with all the plans. Now DNK has played a game against him. Maybe he saw some of the tendencies. Now, game number 2 is going to be the one where he can really hammer home that he is one of the prodigies of the VCS. We know so many teams have amazing junglers, and VCS has produced so many good junglers. I heard he was really high up in solo queue as well, over in Korea. Playing from Vietnam, that's always a good sign. Players like Levi, Kiaya, Yoshino were all challengers in Korea before or at the start of their career. So that's always going to bode well for the hype of this player. First game was really good, and I'm already excited to see what he can do in game number 2.
Is 2022 Team Secret back? I don't know, but we will be back after a short break. Howdy, everyone, and welcome back to the VCS Week 4, Day 4. It's the second day of the second round robin, and we have had an absolute banger game one between Team Secret and SBTC. You'll wait. We saw earlier on today Team Wells playing against Box Esports, and I thought, you know what, Wells, that was a clean early game. Somehow, Secret managed to find an even cleaner early game, and against SBTC as well.
Yeah, they looked so strong. They knew exactly what they were coming for. So many plays on their term as well, which is always even more impressive because sometimes the enemy team just runs into you and you get an advantage for free. But this time it was all created from them. They were the ones starting the play. Zuha was everywhere. All the lanes were winning on their own too. So just super impressive game. Zhang with his first game in the league and looking like one of the better junglers for Team Secret, which is a competition of its own because they have played 4 different jungle players. The inner team competition for jungle spots seems to be going Zhang's way, at least after one game, but now is the important part. Can he double down? Can he actually show up in game number 2?
Well, he's already done what Sorn couldn't do over 4 games, which was get a win. So good start for Shang. And we have to talk about the standings as a whole, because we've talked about what Team Secret need to do if they want to make it into playoffs. I'm looking at the standings right now. Team Wells have just won their series, so they're on 5-3. If Team Secret were to beat SBTC, SBTC will be on 4 wins and 4 losses, whereas Team Secret will be on 3 wins and 5 losses. So they're only going to be 1 game behind SBTC and potentially Saigon Buffalo and Team Flash, depending what happens to them. So that's a good spot for Team Secret with, 6 series remaining, being only 1 game away from the top 4. It's very, very doable. We head into picks and bans now for game 2, and a lot of ADCs being banned away. And some respect from Team Secret, some respect from the side of SBTC against Shang's Wukong.
Yeah, so finishing up the standings point, I think it's still rather dire for Team Secret because even if they win 2-0 here, they're still a series behind SPTC when the second half has already started. So yes, they're getting closer, but they need to keep this up. They need to find some momentum. They need to find some new life to actually win more than just one series. But first of all, of course, has to start today. They need to double down on this really good first game performance and walk it home, actually get the 2-0 and start the comeback.
Is that excited your way sounds I'm about to hear, because the Jinx has been locked in for Slater?
I think this is actually a little bit dangerous for SBTC because
Okay.
Jinx, they're not MBE, right? So if they fall behind Team Secret, I'm not sure that's the correct approach to playing against Team Secret because it looked like Team Secret, they wobbled a bit in the mid game, but they still got a huge early game advantage and were able to close out the game. So picking this heavily late game focused with the Jinx early on in the draft might enable Team Secret to go very, very strong into the early game and once again get a big lead.
And you talked about how Slade is known for his Xayah. Eddie's another one of our ADCs in the league that
Best
I always
Xayah
kind of
player.
associate with the Xayah. I
Best
don't know if
Xayah
I'd
player in the
say
league. Yes.
who,
Yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm too used to casting with Rebel, and hearing someone say Eddie being the best at something in a positive way is kind of weird for me, so I'm still trying to get over that. However, Shang will have the Vi locked in, and if Wukong was giving Team Secret and Shang good engage opportunity, the Vi most certainly will as well.
Yeah, let's say Vi is oftentimes a little bit more streaky or a little bit more feast or famine than Wukong. It's not quite as easy to make the Vi work from behind. Of course, Vi into Jinx is instantly just a target planted on the Jinx back, because if the Vi gets in range for ultimate, Jinx can't really do much to avoid getting ulted, other than champions like Zeri and Lucian are much better at avoiding that kind of impact from the Vi. So I like to see it lock on to the Jinx and just shut her out of the game. But we do have decent disengage options now picked for SPTC with both the Lee Sin and the Gragas. This also means Gragas is once again going to the solo lane, hopefully not to top lane, because that was not a good performance from Enper. I want to see it on DR1. He is comfortable on this champion. He knows how to play AP Gragas and give the counter pick to your main carry in the laning phase, Enper. the best solo kill focused top laner in the league. So many games on Fiora, so many solo kills accrued over the last 2 years. Just let him do his thing. Why would you put him on a tank? I really don't like to see that.
Fiora and Gwen both currently open. The Jays are banned away from Emperor, so Team Secret agreeing with you, Yulwei, thinking that Gragas is going to be going into the hands of Dia 1. I'm also wondering, what does Team Secret want to be pairing with this Xayah? Are we going to be seeing something like the Thresh, or are we going to be seeing something like the Leona once again from Zhu Hao and that incredible roaming that we saw from the Team Secret support in Game 1?
Yeah, the Rakan unfortunately banned away. I'm really surprised that we don't see Rakan banned earlier. It's now first pick in other regions. And there's the Fiora. It's blind somewhat, but at least it's the Fiora for Enper. 60% win rate for Fiora across the whole league. That is remarkable. So many good Yoshino Fiora performances, Enper Fiora performances, even Kiaya with the pentakill on the Fiora earlier this week, actually. So Fiora
yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, Fiora is really getting to be one of the main champions in the VCS top lane pool.
And Zhu Hao now just trying to think, what support does he want? Hero picking up the Kennen, and this just screams team fight all over, doesn't it?
Kennen against Fiora. This is not the Kennen buff, right? Kennen played once so far by Yoshino, one of his famous champions. Not so actually, Hero is a mage player, so I like this a lot.
Yes.
We'll talk about this later. But yeah, the Kennen, one patch too early. Let's see what he can do. The Renata Lask, though, that was one of the champions Zhu Hao burst on the scene with as support. I think Zhu Hao was probably the first really good Renata player in our league, so I'm very excited to see the Renata in his hands again. And Renata Xayah, there's a lot of playmaking opportunity here, and very good kiting.
Thresh was being hovered, but in the end, SBTC are going to lock themselves in the Tahm Kench just to provide more of a peel angle for this Jinx. And you already mentioned, Yulwei, how this Jinx has a target locked on her after the Vi has been picked up, and the Tahm Kench will just provide that extra peel that Slater will desperately need.
The Tahm Kench last pick, I am just not a big fan of Tahm Kench. This now makes
support with Tahm Kench top.
Nah.
No, okay.
Where's the Fiora going then? No, it's gonna be the standard configuration of champions, but I'm worried because this is now in team fights. If you think about this composition, yes, Fiora deals okay team fighting damage, but the main carry has to be the Jinx, which of course she can be, but it's not only main carry, she kind of is the only carry in terms of DPS, and that is scary, especially when the enemy team has so many champions that can jump on top of her and try to kill her, eliminate her from the fight. So this has to be a world-class Slater performance, back to his 2020 form if he wants to win this game for his team.
Well, we are getting ready to head into game then for Game 2 between Team Secret and SBTC. And this is such an important game for Team Secret. If they lose this, it's going to be so difficult to make their way into the top 4 of the spring standings. To go back to your previous point about Zhu Hao, I believe it was spring last year, so spring 2022, where Zhu Hao was the only support really playing Renata, and he was playing so much Renata. He was playing it so well. So whenever we think of Renata, or whenever we think of Zhu Hao, we think of that particular champion or player, depending on how you're looking at it. Good to see him back on the Renata. He's had one game of it so far this season, and paired with Eddie Xayah, you have to think this is going to be a very effective bot lane duo for Team Secret.
Yeah, we saw so many really good support games already. I'm ready for a good Renata game because I haven't seen a good Renata game in a while. She's kind of fallen out of meta and slowly creeping back in other regions as well, but it's still only a fringe pick, maybe a B tier support pick. So I'm ready for a few handshakes. Okay, Xiang in a lot of trouble. That's a kill.
And SBTC just bite at Team Secret instantly. First blood secured. Very nice level 1.
Yeah, and attacking the rookie jungler in his second game ever. Maybe that's exactly what we talked about. In first game, you don't really know what he's going to do, and second game, you really come at him after playing the first game against him on stage. That is now already a little bit worrying, because of course the Lee Sin can really try to chase him down, skirmish him out of his own jungle, maybe even take over the whole top side, with Dia1 investing a ward here into the blue buff area, so they will know exactly when he's going to go for this top side camp. And DNK on Lee Sin, he does have the mechanics. We sometimes wonder if he has the engage sense, the playmaking sense, but the mechanics are there, so DNK now with an opportunity.
I feel like every single jungler in the VCS always has those mechanics. I have a few stats, though, for you, Yulwei. How many games of Tahm Kench support, or just Tahm Kench in general, in the VCS do you think we've had, and who played him?
This year?
This year.
Okay, let's first take a look at this all transpired. Chiang just positioning way too aggressively. Thought he was fine and didn't see DR1 there with the E start just locking him down. A little bit of a rookie mistake, which, I mean, he's the
I
rookie.
blame Artifact for not positioning right for the 5-point start.
True, yeah, you could blame him maybe, but that should have been communicated more clearly as well with DR1 out of vision. Going back to your nice little stat question, as we do a little bit of milky stat. Seen a I think we've probably seen one. And that would then be someone like... I
don't know why, but I feel you're going to say the right name. Well, Artifact is being caught out, so we'll go back to this point momentarily. Artifact flashes away from the belly bop, and then just looks to turn some damage back onto DR1. So actually, there have been 2 games of Tahm Kench.
Really? So I think
both
either
games in the sport.
Rono P or Sora 2.
Rono P has played one of them. Palette played the other. Both of those games were losses. We've also had 2 games of Kennen this split, one from Sunma and one from Yoshino. Both of those losses as well.
Yeah, not very surprising looking at the players who played those champions and the teams they're on. So maybe cut Kennen some slack because, well, Sunma is losing every game, no matter what champion he's on. Okay, DNK searching for Chiang again, but this time...
again securing the objective, or the mini-objective, now looking for DNK.
Wait
There's
a
mid-lane
second.
battle happening. Zhu Hao making his way up. They're looking for the kill onto DR1. Shang's still alive. 2 kills for the side of Team Secret. 1 for Artifact and 1 for Shang's Vi.
But what is SBTC talking about when these plays happen? This is puzzling to me because there's no way you don't see this coming. You know where the mid lane is positioned, you know how the bot lane state is working out right now, and it's Renata against Tahm Kench. There's no way you think Tahm Kench is going to be more useful at level 3 than a Renata in a river fight. I have no idea what just happened there in SBTC's minds, but it was certainly not what's happening on our screens. And they just give away the whole advantage they had in the jungle matchup. Really good smite to start this out, and then it's just double Conqueror, and honestly, with both having a red buff, it's just favorable for the side of the Vi. Short fights are in favor of Vi, especially in the early game, even after giving away a kill. And I just don't know what DR1 thought was happening here, but it was certainly not what ended up happening in favor of Team Secret, clawing their way back into 2-1 kill leads.
And just like in Game 1, Team Secret now find themselves with a goal lead. Not as disastrously bad for SBTC as in the previous game, as Hero just being incredibly obnoxious to cancel out Hero's back, and now Shang being caught out in the river, and this time it's SBTC who find a kill onto Team Secret.
A little bit of jungler spotting here. Just going around and killing all the junglers. This Artifact is only level 5, this could be a kill.
No level 6 though for DR1. DR1 has to be careful that he doesn't get charmed under tower. Is far enough away that the charm will not pull him into turret range. Just a trade of health bars between the 2 mid laners.
Always favorable for the Gragas, of course, because he has infinite sustain, especially with the blue buff that is spelled. As Young just a little too far forward, an Artifact missing the charm opens up DR1 to just walk at him. That's a rather easy kill for the side of DR1, who's redeeming himself for his earlier woes in the bot side river. Now DNK on the aggressive path again towards top lane.
Hero just zaps himself to safety, and maybe stepping a bit too far forward. Zhu Hao now looking for the trade. Doesn't have a flash available, but can land a hand. Eddie is low.
Whoa, what?
It's later, and is kept alive by the bailout. Palette will pull 1 kill back, but surely Palette will die running as fast as his little toe legs will take him. And in the end, it's a 1-for-1 in the bottom lane.
Okay, we need to examine that again. That was such a close call. And actually, the ADC going down, traded for the support kill, was almost favorable for SPTC.
We'll talk about it later. DR1 making his
Flash
way up.
ultimate available.
Is low, and it's just a slicing maelstrom to get rid of the minion wave as quickly as possible, but there's just too much damage, and DR1 is too tanky. SBTC get their 4th kill of the game.
Hero overplayed his ultimate card there. He used the ultimate too early. If he waited for them to attack him and ultimate into flash behind his tower, I think he has a very good chance of living there. But he tried to clear the wave with the ultimate. It just takes a bit too long, because the ultimate is not really there to be a wave clear tool. It's an AoE DPS, so not quick enough. Let's take a look at this again. Zhu Hao cancelling the W. Very nice start to the fight. But look at all the minions attacking them. They can't really easily go through all the minion wave. And then suddenly Slader is there with so much damage. They do get the reset on Eddie, but Palat with the auto attack. Such a close affair. I need to see... Yeah, both kills went to the supports, which it makes the trade very even. But then again, Team Secret gets the dragon and trade for a top lane kill, so everything is very active in this early game for both teams. They're not holding back.
I want to say an even bot lane is probably good for SBTC, considering they're the ones with the jinx against the Xayah. Another dive in from the Tahm Kench. This time Zhu Hao cannot peel his ADC, and DNK will take the spoils of war.
Eddie, what did you just do? You have Ghost available. Why don't you walk out of that W? That almost looked like he was trying to bait him in by taking the W, but that's such a risky call to make, because he could have certainly moved out of that skill shot. That's not that hard a skill shot to dodge. Eddie with a big overstep.
Going to use this opportunity of DNK showing bottom side to try to take the Rift Herald. However, DNK and Palat are slowly making their way up, and Dia1 might just try to play Disruptor for these two.
Bit too late there. Good call for Team Secret, once again punishing the aggression on the bot side. They need to make use of this Rift Herald though, because they're falling behind on the bot lane. And 3 kills already for DNK, who's starting to accelerate ahead of the enemy jungler.
Heroes also picked up an Oblivion very early, just to limit some of the healing available to Enper's Fiora. Going back to the point of the Rift Herald though, Yulwei, where would you like to see it being used?
Well, it could certainly try to... They could try to get back at the bot lane, but I think it's more likely to happen in top lane, because Hero has been dominating this lane, these trades all the time. Even though he got dived on, he's still ahead in CS.
Oh, party in the bot lane. Cease and desist finds a knock-up into the handshake. Dia1 pulled away from his tower. They want to give the kill over to Artifact, and Artifact will pick up his second kill of the game. Artifact
Ari is doing work once again. One of his best champions last year. Coming back, he wanted to be the playmaker in this series, and playmaking he is.
I was just wondering if Palat had stepped too far forward, but it is just Zhu Hao by himself. No Artifact roaming down, and eventually Eddie will get to his minion wave and be able to pick up some extra CS. Again, still waiting for this Rift Herald to be used. I thought Shang might have dropped it mid lane as soon as Dia1 died, but didn't, as in the top lane, the Dragon Rage has been used by DNK, looking for the play on it to Hero, who's trying to get under his tower. I'm casting from the minimap because the observers have no idea that there's a play happening, and the tower shots come through. Emperor low. Shang making his way up. This could potentially be 2 kills for the Team Secret jungler. Looking to DNK, gets the kill as he ward hops to safety, but it is just full safety for DNK.
And the MVP of this whole play is definitely Milky, as he spotted what was happening in top lane. Please just hire Milky as observer. That would go a long way to improve the broadcast, because we have been missing so many plays this week, unfortunately. Once again attacking Hero here, and he can't really make it out.
You gotta play live on live, because that is a big wave crashing in onto Emperor, and Shang gets another kill.
Yeah, too much action, we can't follow everything, and Zhang here just cleaning out 2 of the kills. This actually puts him now pretty far ahead in terms of experience over DNK, who had a great start in terms of kills, but Zhang accelerating past him, and he's gonna be an easier champion to execute in teamfights. I wouldn't strictly say better, because Lee Sin has insane potential in teamfights, but it's much easier to just press Q ultimate for Zhang in teamfights onto the enemy ADC. Or support even, because it's a Tahm Kench. You want to get rid of that toad. But Team Secret keeps using their resources. Oh, that cancelled his Q. Oh, he might have to...
Shang flashes over the wall. Zhu Hao is here. Good charm onto Dia1. Flashes out of the engage from the Vi. Sonic Wave will not land. Zhu Hao forced to retreat.
They walk away with the plating. So Team Secret, once again, almost a 1k gold lead. Playing well in the mid-jungle department. The one thing we wanted to see, because... Mid-jungle was what made them good in last summer. Now a new jungler comes in, Artifact looks revitalized.
Would just like to say as well, there is a small window right now where Slader is stronger than Eddie because Slader has been able to pick up Gale Force. Eddie, though, picked up Boots, picked up a Cull, so doesn't have his first item completed, and SBTC are going to use this window to secure their first Drake of the game.
This forced him to go Gale Force on Jinx, something you never want to do. That's losing quite a bit of DPS compared to the Kraken Slayer. Also makes you have to buy an attack speed item, which with Kraken Slayer you don't really have to because of the passive. So this is going to put Jinx behind in terms of itemization strength, especially later on in the game. He went for extra safety, and I'm not sure I agree with that, because you already went extra safety in the draft, right? You drafted her a full disengage champion that does nothing but disengage for her, and then you also index into disengage in your itemization. That's quite a bit of, disengage for Slater. He now needs to stay alive in every single fight. If he dies, well, can only really blame him.
A big CS lead as well for Hero in the top lane on this Kennen. Yes, it is a range into melee matchup, but there has been a lot of focus from DNK towards the top side, and I'll just use that point to kind of segue towards Shang, because after he gave away that first kill and then the second kill as well, I was thinking, okay, maybe Shang's not having as good of a game, but all credit to Shang. He's kept himself positive in the sense that he's been very proactive looking for plays and has pulled himself well and truly back into this game.
Yeah, it seems to be the engine of Team Secret. Much better than in all the series we've seen in the last few weeks. They're 0-4. They were 0-4 in series coming into today, and I had almost lost hope for this team, 2-5 in the standings. They're still in a precarious position. They need to win almost every series, but if they can play like this every time, maybe there's still a chance for them to make playoffs yet again.
It's all going to come down to the later series, and I think the games against Cerberus and Team Worlds for both SBTC and Secret, even against Saigon Buffalo, those 5 teams in the middle of the standings is going to be so close, and it's 5 teams essentially battling, vying it out for 3 spots. Shang looking towards this bottom side, spotted out by a control ward, and when there is a Tahm Kench with ult available, very risky to look for a tower dive.
Let's take a look at the objectives taken, with plates going down now. Turrets will be up for the taking for anyone who can find a kill on any side of the map. I'm honestly quite surprised that Hero has nothing in his inventory to show for his early game advantage, right? Okay, he built a lot of items that don't really go well together, but his damage is surprising me every time we pan towards top lane, because looking at his itemization, he shouldn't deal that much damage, but Enper is struggling big time this whole series to keep Hero contained. Hero back to his former laning strength.
Hero performing very well in this game on the Kennen. Usually when I see Kennen, I always think to Harsmed. Both the Kennen, the Aatrox, the Akali as well. But Hero putting himself in contention for one of the better Kennens in the VCS.
Yeah, Hero has always been a good ranged player. He was a Vladimir one-trick for the longest time over at QTV. So yeah, it's not a surprise to me, but still looking really good. Even after getting focused, even after getting ganked, has not relented a single bit, even though Enper got the early kill. So yeah, it's just a really impressive performance in the laning phase. I still need to see him step up his game in teamfights, in positioning in teamfights a little bit more. Some of the things he did in the Gnar game let me reconsider the MVP points, and I actually snubbed him in the end. But if he continues to lane like this, that's already a strong point on the map for Team Secret, and they need all the strong points they can get.
15 minutes into the game, the kills are dead even, but Team Secret find themselves with a 1.5k goal lead. Next objective will be up in 1.5 minutes, and that will be the second Drake for either Team Secret or SBTC. Team Secret themselves having a bit of a lane swap, sending Eddie up into the mid lane and Artifact down towards the bottom lane. Juhao just here to give Artifact a bit of extra assistance.
Not entirely sure what DNK is doing in bot lane there, as mid lane is in trouble.
Well, DO1 will be forced to burn his flash in exchange for Eddie's Gale Force and an ultimate from Shang.
I just feel like DNK has kind of misplayed his advantages in the early game and been in the wrong places at the wrong time, where he wasn't needed most of the time in the strong sides, and just ended up being
Oh,
the second man. Oh, Palette, what are
Abyssal
you
Voyage
doing?
comes through. Shang, though, getting a lot of damage down onto Palette instantly. Teleport through as well from Artifact. The Team Secret want to be pushing in this mid lane. They're setting up for that Drake in half a minute's time.
And tell me, Milky, don't you feel like SPTC is just looking a little bit like brain fried, a little bit of a brain lag there? What's up with their communication today? There's so many puzzling plays where one player goes in and the rest of the team just stares at him and goes, "What the did you just do?"
That sounds like my solo queue experience almost, but maybe it's a case of SBTC saying, look, we know we're weaker than Team Secret right now. We don't want to give everything away, but we're going to give some stuff away until Slater can get himself onto a few items and Hero, oh, pardon me, not Hero, Emperor can become more of a menace in the top lane.
Maybe. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen this game, as Emperor is still struggling so much even to just go to the minions. They're using lunge for every single last hit because he just can't step up. Yeah, there was a wave where he used lunge for every last hit. At least he got all of the last hits, but I feel like this is one of the more subdued performances for Emperor on his favorite Fiora. 6th game of the split, and he has had some amazing performances. As I said earlier, we had the Pentacle literally yesterday on Fiora in team fights, but once again, what is DNK doing up here? Trying to play
I think he wants
cross-map.
to kill the Lightning Rat. Teleport as well. SBTC throwing 3 members towards this top lane. Again, it's going to be the ult from Hero, trying to find a way to outplay this. Flash is back under tower, but he will not be able to keep himself alive. I think the ultimate was good. The Flash, though, I don't think would have saved him.
I mean, he literally did the same mistake again that cost him his life in the first dive. He didn't learn at all. Instead of holding the ultimate and flashing to the other side of the turret, he once again let himself be engaged on while using the ultimate first. The exact same thing happened at the first dive. Hero, come on. I'm praising you for your 1v1 play, but you need to be more aware of what's happening when there's more than one player on your screen.
Hear me out, Yole. I personally think Hero, at least in the first one, maybe not for that second play, I think in the first one, Hero had accepted his death. And essentially
But
just
why?
said,
He didn't need to die. Yeah, he's accepting death that he shouldn't be accepting because he should not die there. He even could have walked away. If we get a replay, he was in a position to just walk away towards a secondary turret. But he decided to play it aggressively and then just inted. That is not the way to go. He's 0-3, but his stats kind of hide that he is having a really good laning performance, but he needs to stop dying.
Well, 3 deaths for Hero right now. Still a 2k goal lead for the side of Team Secret while the play happened on the top side. Team Secret were able to secure themselves an outer tower in the bottom lane. 2 Drakes as well. Baron will be up on the map shortly, but I doubt either team will really be playing for it. The next objective to fight over will presumably be the Infernal Drake in just over 3 minutes' time.
It's still a good performance from Team Secret, and they're still very far ahead in the mid game, especially looking at this Ahri. That's a lot of damage, and you have to respect her CC as well. Couple that with Xiang's super strong early game, and he's level 11 as well. He can actually look for solo kills here if he wants. So it's still a hard game to play, but giving up all these kills over to Emperor... Oh, dear one.
Team Secret are saying, if you're going to send 3 members to the top side for a kill, we are going to do the exact same. Engage comes through from Shang. Is he tanky enough to take all of the damage? Yes, he is. And it's just a rather free kill for Team Secret.
Very good. Look at the timer for Dia 1's flash. It's just coming off cooldown now, any second now. So they made use of their timing of his flash. They do pay with the mid lane tower, which might actually be a negative play for Team Secret, because that mid lane tower...
Artifact gets top lane.
Yes, in terms of gold, it's positive, but the mid lane tower gives better priority onto the dragon, of course, and that's their main objective in this game, getting that soul yet again. They're already off to 2 dragons, and an Infernal Soul with triple Infernal Drake on this composition sounds pretty lovely.
DNK looking for a play, forced to flash away as in is coming Shang, slowed by the zap, won't be able to use the cease and desist aggressively. Just having a little wander around the river. No Drake for another 2 minutes anyway. 2 items completed for Artifact now. Dia 1 on just the single item, although we'll have that Archangel stuff completed very shortly.
Head scratcher there from DNK. Now his flash is not available for a flash kick in the dragon fight. Might have... Oh, Slater. Uh-oh.
Sped up by the Shirelias, and Palette forced to just devour Slayer instantly. Now that's a defensive tool no longer available for the SBTC side.
And that's a level 10 ultimate, meaning the cooldown is still very high. I'm not sure if it's gonna come off cooldown for the dragon fight, which might mean that SBTC has to give up the dragon for free, because without Slater's appealing tool in Palette, I don't think they can really look for a fight.
Shang just having a hover, thinking about diving on in. But just buying time for Eddie to get some damage down onto the inner tower. Not a significant amount though. Hero has made his reset, making his way up towards the river. And this is a point where Team Secret need to start ensuring that they have control over the bottom side of the river.
My eyes are glued to that cooldown from Palette. It looks like it might just come off cooldown when the dragon fight is happening. So kind of getting away with the... murder, actually the opposite of murder, because he protected Slater, but still, that was a very risky play to make, or to overstep and invest that peeling tool for Palette's ultimate in that fight, but they might get away with it, because it's ticking down. The cooldown is coming off in 20 seconds. It should be available, especially now that Team Secret seems to be delaying the dragon fight a bit, setting up the mid lane first.
And again, Artifact now looking for Dia1, slowed down by the Everfrost. Cease and desist comes through. Dia1 flashes away. The Team Secret won't be able to find anything further. Sonic Wave did land onto Eddie, but DNK rather sensibly didn't dive on in. Didn't have a flash available, and now Team Secret make their way towards the Drake.
Cease and desist used. Got the flash from Dia1 and his ultimate too, so trade of ultimates, as we have another little skirmish in the mid lane. Dragon is already down though.
Handshake onto Palette, now rooted down, flasher forward with a slicing maelstrom from Hero. Over the wall comes Shang. And sadly, the Renata ultimate won't find anyone. Team Secret, though, do get 2 kills with both Enpa and Palette falling, and Team Secret might just take this as an invite to secure the Baron.
Okay, this is his time to shine. He does have good smite mechanics most of the time, so he might be able to do something here. Last game, Team Secret turned off Baron very aggressively, and they're doing it yet again. This time they kept the Baron leashed though, so it's round number 2.
Hero just being an absolutely pesky menace on the side, and again looking for a way in, looking towards Dia1. Artifact not going to find the charm, but doesn't matter. Just going to step forward for Slater. Again, Team Secret, they abandoned the Baron for a fight. They're going to find a kill at least on it to Dia1. But
no!
That is all. Now a teleport coming through. Artifact maybe going too far forward. Lands a really nice charm. Turns it back around onto DNK. Is able to take the Blast Cone out to safety, but Shang is on the hunt. Doesn't have a cease and desist available, and Blast Cone should be enough for DNK to make his way out to safety.
No mana for the next Q. One more. Oh, DNK. He went the wrong way.
No handshake will land. Sonic Wave does come through, but Artifact gets the kill regardless.
They're recalling instead of going for Baron, even though Slater, Dia1, and DNK are dead. A little bit confusing there. What happened to Slater? Slater died to a turret shot at the end there. As we see, yeah, good turn. This time I really liked the turn from Secret, because Baron was a little risky. It took them a lot of time to take the Baron. Slater just pushed into the enemy turret by
That was a
Artifact.
flat tower shot, to be fair.
Yeah, it dealt a lot of damage, but this is 3 kills to the side of Secret again. They keep on pushing forwards, which I really like to see. This team really looking revitalized today. After 4 losses in a row, coming in today, they are not looking back. They're keeping on the aggressors. They keep on being the aggressors, apologies. And finally, everyone is contributing to the team fights too. Hero found a good ultimate. Artifact is so proactive on his Ahri. I really like this iteration of Team Secret.
Artifact is playing like it's still 2022, like he's still the split MVP. Hero playing really well, and Shang. Honestly, with some of the junglers in the VCS, I've always found it very difficult to be able to, I think, fairly assess who has been better for teams, but I think Shang is hands down been absolutely phenomenal for Team Secret over this series, like a complete engine for the side.
Yeah, definitely today. Of course, the sample size is not really big enough to make sweeping statements yet.
Hero, this is a flank and a half, but he can't get on top of Slater. Will just go gold, and Slicing Mails from doing work onto Palette as on the bottom side of the fight. Eddie just looks towards Dia1, run down, too much damage from Artifact and Eddie. and SBTC lose another 2 members.
Who cares about Jinx this early in the game? This is exactly what I was talking about, being scared for the Jinx picks into Team Secret, because this is not MBE. SBTC should be able to play other champions too, and suddenly
Yeah,
the
you
Jinx...
do not win this, especially with Zhuhao coming over the wall, not going to be able to land the ultimate.
Wait.
Another Spike Wave lands it. DK gets the kill onto Hero, but it doesn't matter because Team Secret are able to secure the Baron. Slater throwing out a lot of rockets onto Zhuhao, but forced to back away.
When we look at this team fight again, we will see that Slater had to walk away, did almost no damage whatsoever. It's the Baron secured for Team Secret much earlier in this game than last game. They took so much time to close out the last game. In this game, they weren't in quite as dominant a position, but the mid and late game looks more assertive even than the last game, and fewer mistakes in the team fights with better positioning from all of their players. Team Secret just getting better and better today.
I feel like game 1, Team Secret played at about 100% for the entire game, apart from those 2 minutes where they really started to slip up. This game has felt like 90% for Team Secret, but constantly 90% the entire game long.
Yeah, I think that's a very good assessment. Some mistakes still to be cleared up, especially in the top lane 1v1, but other than that, look at the stats.
You mean 1v3?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah. Look at the stats for their players. Mid-jungle, that is exactly what Team Secret was all about last year. They're back here. And then Eddie being the big carry from behind, even though he had to struggle in the laning phase, 1 and 2 still in terms of his stats. He has 3 items, he's ready to fight, and he has Zhuhao, the best Renata player in the league behind him, who is 2-0-9. Yet another amazing performance from this support player.
Yeah, we look at the mid-junglers having 9 kills out of 14, but then you see Zhuhao with 11 kill participation out of 14. A tower picked up somewhere as in goes here, and this time he says, I've got friends for the play. Emperor will lunge over the wall, and Zhuhao just can't really follow up on the players. In the bottom lane, so much damage from Artifact and Shang with the Baron-empowered minions. Down goes the bot lane inhibitor tower. And you can see Eddie has already made his way over and started up the Drake, which will be the Infernal Soul for Team Secret.
Absolutely lovely to see Team Secret play a very fast game where too much is happening for the enemy team to react. We see this from really good teams where everything gets accelerated and it feels like you're playing on double speed, because the top lane there's a fight, bot lane they're already taking a tower, they're not letting up, they're not only doing one play at the time, their players know that they can go for multiple plays on different places on the map, and the enemy team, if they are not able to predict all the plays individually, they're going to be caught pants down. That happened here. Free soul over to Team Secret. SPDC not even able to contest them there because they were still planning their top lane attack. They were still scrambling to go to the bot lane defense, and in the meantime, Eddie was already taking the dragon. So that's really nice to see. The tempo plays for Team Secret in this whole series, but especially game number 2, I think are super impressive and promising for them.
A 7k goal lead for the side of Team Secret, and you have to feel that one fight now could be the end, because Secret are strong enough to get an ace for nothing or an ace for 1, and then they can just march it down the mid lane or the bottom lane. So much damage from Artifact and Eddie on 2 objectives, but for now they are just playing the 1-4, or I say 1-4, it's more like a 3-2. Team Secret though slowly migrating over to the top side, looking for this inner tower. Shang over the wall, he's got so much confidence in this game, doesn't even care that he's jumping into zero vision, makes the play anyway. Down goes the inner tower, and Team Secret continue to push forward.
And Secret has been in this position before against SPDC, pushing down inhibitor turrets against the hyper carry on the other side. Last game they were able to get back after the SPDC overcommitted to Elder Dragon, but of course the game before, game 2 of the first round series, was against Hyperscaler in Kassadin. This time it's Jinx. Not quite as threatening, maybe, especially at this point in the game, but she is sitting on 3 items, so if you overstep, if you give her a few shutdowns, and all of your players have shutdowns right now, maybe the Jinx can carry.
Emperor playing aggressively onto Hero, who goes gold and buying time for the teleport to come through. Over and behind goes Emperor, gets the kill, but Emperor will fall a 1-for-1 overall. But it was a play that forced the Team Secret mid lane Artifact to use his teleport.
Can't have a series without an Emperor solo kill, of course. Here we go, finally. Stepping up to the plate and showing his Fiora mechanics. Even after a difficult laning phase, he's now actually ahead in CS, and of course, probably ahead in items if you look at the items coming in for both players. Is there a Fiora side lane win condition? I'm not really a believer yet, but it is Emperor, so maybe.
there is always the Emperor win condition. 3 and 3. 3 items completed on this Fiora. Hull breaker as well. An absolute menace in the side lane. Does mean that he will be slightly weaker in team fights. And let's not forget just how important this game is. Team Secret coming off a streak of 4 series losses. SBTC having just taken down the second place team Cerberus 2-1 on Friday. And this is such a good way for Team Secret to start the second half of the season to get back into playoff contention.
Yeah, not only good way, a more than necessary way. They still need to close it out. Such a good position, but one overstep and suddenly the Jinx and the Fiora can carry the game and just steal it away yet again for SBTC against Team Secret. Seems to be the theme of all their games this year. All of them are Team Secret ahead and then SBTC stealing away the game. They didn't succeed in doing so last game. Let's see if they can do it here. Jinx now on 3 items, but on the other side we have 4.5 now. 5 finished items for Artifact. That if he ever gets close to Slater, Slater blows up in a matter of milliseconds.
Artifact looking for a play. It's happening off the screen. We can't see it. It is onto DNK, who I can see from the right of my screen is very low. Dia1 able just to belly block his way out of the handshake from Zhu Hao. Cease and desist comes through on to the Tahm Kench. Team Secret don't care who they focus on. Hostile takeover will only land onto Palette. Zhu Hao knocked towards Slater from the explosive cask, and have a look at Hero on the side, waiting for a flank angle. All the while, Emperor is just pushing in the bottom lane. He's going to get the inhibitor tower. He's going to get the inhibitor as well. And now SBTC are playing on the base cancelled. Team Secret haven't been able to get a single base off, and Emperor is just pushing forward. Teleport now coming through from Dia1. Team Secret will surely be able to keep their base alive. The Nexus Tower almost falls. Emperor maybe getting a bit too aggressive as Zhu Hao now showing up. Slowed down. Who is the focus on? Dia1 able to jump out of the handshake, but Artifact will forward, finds the charm. Down goes Emperor, and is there any way out for Dia1? He'll get the bop onto Artifact, finds a lot of damage, but is there enough?
Artifact's dead. And
the bailout through in time. It just about does. Artifact gets the kill onto Dia1 and stays alive.
Look at the Baron. They are doing triple plays on the whole map again, but DNK is here. He could steal this away. Oh, this is close. He gets it!
DNK, he steals it away, knocks it Shang, so he can't smite. DNK goes golden, but will fall. And is this an opportunity for Team Secret just to march it forward in the side lane? It's going to be empowered recalls now for Slater, and Palette will be able to reset. And overall, I don't really know who's won that play your way.
I actually think SPTC is coming out on top here. They get the Baron off the cards to push down their own base, and they do get an inhibitor in the bot lane, which is great for them to just scale up. Now Emperor can sit in top lane and push over there if he wants, and the enemy team is missing the Baron, so they can't easily penetrate into your base. Artifact, of course, is the absolute hero here, investing everything, but we see the struggles of Ahri. Even this fat of an Ahri is not able to kill them quickly. Of course, bailout, maybe the best spell in the game when it comes to these kind of situations. He stays alive, but there's another highlight happening at the same time on the other side of the map. DNK talked about this earlier in the game. This time he actually makes it happen. Big shutdown yet again. That's 2 or 3 objective shutdowns for SPTC. So that's a lot of gold into the pockets of them. Looking at someone like Jinx, but that's Elder Dragon secure. Team Secret, once again, they get the Elder Dragon. The game is way closer than it had any right being, and Slater should be sitting on 4 items now, so is Emperor, but they do have to fend off this Elder Dragon. And Team Secret, on the other hand... Sorry, go ahead.
When you think about the first 2 plays of that fight, you think SBTC have come out on top because they get the Baron. But then you remember, okay, DNK's dead, he can't contest the Elder, Team Secret now have Elder, and I think right now you'd rather have Elder over Baron. The one caveat for that is the fact that Emperor on this Fiora has a Baron buff to push. Caught out though is Hero, and Team Secret aren't in a position. There's so much damage coming through from the slicing maelstrom. Teleport through as well. This might be deadly for Artifact. He's not
Artifact, no!
Engaged. Artifact shut down. Slater picks up a kill, and it's 2 kills for nothing for SBTC. Have Team Secret just throw this game away?
Surely not, right? It can't happen again. Oh my god, they are trying to get at least 1 kill with the Elder Dragon to reset the advantages here.
Tier 1 though knocked away. Can Eddie get in? Dash forward from Shang. Tier 1 goes golden. Shang just needs to hit Tier 1 a couple of times. Gets the kill. Shang though in enemy territories. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't land. Eddie, though, he's in a 1v3, and Shang is not going to cancel his back. He knows that his ADC is practically dead and will not risk giving another kill over
I'm
Sonic
not
Wave
so sure
lands.
about that
DNK will
one.
go over the wall. This might be a bit too aggressive. Eddie kicked away. DNK still on the hunt, and Eddie has been able to worm his way out to safety.
Eddie has Elder Dragon. You saw Slater try to hit him, and then he got hit by 2 feathers, and he said, nope, 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 I'm not getting close to that one. That's a monster with the Elder Dragon, 4 items in Elder Dragon, so they have to let him go. But still, SBTC reset the map into Elder Dragon. Okay, their Baron also has run out, so we're kind of in an even state again. Team Secret still have the Soul on their side, but the other team has a 4-item Jinx and a 4-item Fiora on their side, so this could go either way, Milky. Team Secret has lost all positioning in this game.
This game has got very, very close. Eddie looking at his final item, either going to be a Bloodthirster or a Guardian Angel. Slade has been able to pick up more of the Malmortius. Also looking for a GA, currently has the stopwatch in his inventory. Dia 1, though, has a couple of items to pick up. He's been rather gold-starved on the Gragas. 1 and 7 artifact, full build, completing his Zhonya's now. And it is just the side of Team Secret who are waiting to pick up a few elixirs at this point. No real objectives to contest over. Shang just looking towards Emperor on the side lane. Does have Hullbreaker. Will keep him alive for a bit longer. Cease and desist riposted very nicely by Emperor.
How did that riposte work? That was weird interaction. He landed on the other side, still got stunned because he went over the riposte or something? Okay. Whatever. It's Fiora. Fiora magic. And of course, it's very hard to pick her in the side lane because she's just so slippery and fast and just runs away. She used the ghost though, so no ghost for the next team fight. Coming up around 1 minute and 40 seconds. Actually, the ghost might be available again at that point for the Baron fight. And this time Team Secret needs to make sure to keep DNK out of the pit. It's Lee Sin. It's so easy to steal with this champion, and DNK is no stranger to stealing objectives. Over the course of his whole career, he has been good at this and already showed it here in the Baron fight.
I mean, Shang showed some good proficiency in stealing objectives away in game 1. But right now, I'm just looking to him, but he is so scary. With that Hullbreaker as well, but with the rest of his team around him, he becomes a
Hero,
little
no,
bit less
not
scary.
again!
Hero might be getting caught out, the riposte comes through, Hero goes golden, the rest of Team Secret slowly making their way in, Emperor is very low, devoured by Pelé, but here comes Team Secret, and here comes Eddie. Does he have enough damage? Looking to deal one flash forward,
They want Slater!
Forces the GA to be used, Slater is on the run, Featherstorm comes out, GA pop, Emperor is surely going to die on the other side of the fight, and that Slater comes out of stasis, Eddie will secure the kill, 4 members down for SBTC, and surely that's the fight that wins Team Secret the game and the series.
They've done it! Finally they found the angle, and Palette used his ultimate to save Emperor, not on Slater. They picked this whole composition to protect Slater, and in the end they don't do it. DNK trying to cut the wave.
He is trying to cut the wave, but he just does not. Surely he's not going to find a way out of this team.
They're running away?
Because there is no way. DNK has found the hero play to keep the SBTC alive. Artifact though, over
No
the wall,
way.
charging forward, looking for DNK, who has bought so much goddamn time. How is he still alive? And GA as well. And SBTC are now respawning. DNK will die, but that is a hero's death if I've ever seen one before.
SBTC might be the most annoying team to try to close games out against I've ever seen. How do they keep finding these angles? It's still 5v4 on the map though. DNK dead for another 50 seconds. That's at least 2 inhibitors, I think. 2 inhibitors plus Baron maybe. Or will they try to push for the end? That's against the Jinx wave clear.
5v4, a lot of wave clear. Charm comes through, the handshake forces the Devour out of a palette.
Next wave.
Used by Zhu Hao. Explosive cast pushes the wave away, gets some damage onto the members of Team Secret, but they are pushing forward. Eddie is so low, but it doesn't matter. He's throwing out feathers.
Eddie?
Steel 1 to go under his tower. Down goes Steel 1. Slicing Maelstrom. Slices through SBTC. And Team Secret turn their fortunes around with a clean 2-0 against SBTC.
And what an end to this game, back and forth and just team fight after team fight after team fight. And finally, Eddie, after some very questionable early games, shows us why everyone has been praising Isaiah for such a long time, even when it was not in meta. I always said he was the best Zarya player. Hanke agreed with me back last year, and we see what his team fighting awareness, his positioning, and his awareness at when to strike and go forwards and finish off the enemy ADC was really on display the last two fights. He carried his team through to the next, to another chance at getting playoffs. 3-5 now. They break their loss record and they start off, most importantly, the second round robin with a new jungler with a 2-0 over SPTC.
And what that also means is when you look at the standings right now, SBTC are fourth with 4-game wins, 4-game losses. Saigon Buffalo, Team Flash, 3-game wins, 3-game losses. Team Secret, 3 wins and 5 losses. There is 1 game separating 4 teams for that final playoffs spot. It is very, very close.
These stats look absolutely incredible. Look at all the damage dealt by the carries, but they did just give up positioning way too many times. If you just look at the stats and the kill count, it doesn't look like a close game, right? It's a 40-minute game where one team dealt like 3 times the damage of the enemy team, if that's even enough. But SPTC just being pesky, running around the map and finding opportunity after opportunity to punish the stranglers from the side of Team Secret, to buy more time, to get objectives, to steal the Baron. Wow, what a performance from both teams, honestly. Team Secret should have been able to win both of these games in 25 minutes. They had the position, they had the early game advantages, but SPTC was hard to overcome today.
So, I asked you this question at the end of the previous game, and I think that was an unfair question. I think it's still an unfair question, but it's slightly less unfair. Shang or Penguin?
Shang, of course.
Yeah.
Always rookie.
I'm glad we're in agreement on that.
I mean, I don't hate Penguin actually as a player, but we haven't actually seen him in ages. I don't even know what's happened to him, so it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem like Team Secret is trusting in Penguin, and who am I to disagree with them? So, give me Shang, and if you just look at the other players, not even Shang's performance in comparison to Penguin's, but look at the performance from Artifact and from Zhu Hao compared to before. Zhu Hao today, what a masterclass in support. And Artifact double Ahri games, we know he's super comfortable on the Ahri, the ultra veteran in the mid lane. Finally, showing us some of that MVP performance from last year. The more important part than the jungle performance is just how good the team members look, in my opinion.
A really fun game, a really fun series, super fun to cast, super fun to watch. With that brings this stream to a close, and myself and Yulwei are now going to have to do the painful task of working out who you want to give MVP points to for that game, because it is very, very tough. But thank you guys, everyone, so much for watching. If you haven't already, do drop a follow on the Twitch channel. Hey, subscribe even if you've got one of those cool Twitch Prime subscriptions you can give out. And we'll see you guys next week on Thursday for week 5 of the VCS. Stay tilt-proof on the Rift, and goodbye.